Hello, hello, how are you doing today? So today is another day and it's a good day, and by just the look of it, it's going to be a good day, although it's in the morning and it's a Monday morning today. Today it's a Monday morning. The weather is chilly, at least some rains have started coming up. Although for the from January to February it has been so sunny. This year has been the hottest year of all the years, and but me, I didn't feel it. But there was some shock where when you touch something metallic, you get a shock, and this has never happened in the past years. But scientists have said when you touch something, this shock is resulted to the solar waves, which are currently resulted by the heat which we are experiencing right now. I'm hearing that the solar is almost near to the earth. That's why it's so much heat in this year. There's a lot of heat in this year. So today we'll be talking about the movie Total Recall. Total Recall is a movie which was produced in around 2012, and for me it's a good movie. It's a nice movie. I can watch it more than 7 times because it's a movie which you can relate to the current world, because there are some movies where they talk about the current world but many people don't know this, and Total Recall is one of them which talks about the current world. So I'm going to do a review of this movie, and I'm also going to explain what the movie talks about and what the movie teaches us also about, because some of these movies have a life lesson which we don't know. And so these lessons which come from this movie, I'll be talking about them. And also this movie also, it's an example of our current society right now. So this movie, there was an original movie which was removed by Arnold Schwarzenegger, the actor who acted Terminator. That he is the original actor of Total Recall, but it was removed around 1990s or 80s. So this second movie, it was a remake of the first movie, which this second movie was a little bit clear more than the first movie. So and also this second movie also has modern technology and also broaden ups on what the first movie was talking about. So this Total Recall, it starts when a character called Douglas, who is sleeping, who is having a nightmare. In this nightmare, he recalls a dream where him and another girl, they are caught up in a fighting with some enemies which are robots, and also other people who are fighting against them. So Douglas is caught up with this girl in a room where they have to escape, but unfortunately Douglas is caught up and has to let go of this girl. So this girl is in a window, ready to go, and the other side there are those bad guys who are coming up for them. So it's a scene where Douglas has to take care to shoot the other people and also look out for this girl who he's holding up, this girl. So I'll tell you the story of this girl in the later on time as we pass through. So Douglas is holding this girl. It starts when Douglas is holding this girl on the window, wanting her to let go. So Douglas wanted to go with her because they were escaping these guys. So on going, those guys shot Douglas on the hand. So he had to let go of this girl because this girl was hanging over a roof and a window of a roof, and down there was water. So they shot Douglas in the hand, which pierced Douglas' hands and also pierced the lady's hand. So Douglas also had to leave the girl to go to drop, and what these guys did was to shoot Douglas with some tying rope, because this is a modern technology. They shot Douglas with a tying rope which surrounded him and enclosed him where he couldn't move. So they were able to catch Douglas, and that's where Douglas wakes up from that dream. That was just basically a dream. So when Douglas wakes up, he wakes up in a bed where he's sleeping next to his wife. The wife is called I don't know. He's sleeping next to his wife. Then his wife asked Douglas, is there any problem? What is Douglas tells the wife, I've been having the same dreams, bad dreams again and again. So the wife asks Douglas, is there, what's the dream about? What is the dream talking about? So Douglas tells the girl, it's me running away from other people and the people are chasing me. So the wife gets curious and asks Douglas, so, and what else? What else are you alone in that dream? So Douglas tells, yes, he's alone, but Douglas hides the wife to tell her that he was with somebody else, and that somebody else was another woman in the dream. So maybe Douglas was fearing, because this is his wife, so he was fearing to tell his wife that he was dreaming of another girl inside that dream. So this wife of Douglas is called Lori. The wife of Douglas is called Lori. So they say that is just a bad dream. So, and Douglas goes back to normal, and so it reaches in the morning where Douglas has to go to work, and also Lori has to go to work. Both of them goes to work. So when they're going to work, that's when we know Douglas meets a friend who is called. He meets a friend who that friend of Douglas is a black American, is black, where they are two best friends. So they are best friends who they work together in the same workplace. So we get this place where Douglas tells this friend that isn't he bored with the same routine which is happening day and day all the time? Waking up, going to job, waking up, going to work, waking up, going to work. Is there any change in they want to experience? So the friend of Douglas tells Douglas, hey, you must be having a problem, because I see everything is fine. But Douglas insists. But when he tries to insist, the friends tries to evade what Douglas is saying. So the friend is like pushing back and telling Douglas, oh, me see fine is okay. So Douglas is insisting that this life, there's this routine which they take place, and this routine is boring. Every day they go to work, every morning they do everything in the morning, they repeat the same things which they do every day and every day. So this friend of Douglas is trying to evade Douglas and telling Douglas, that's on your own. Even they reach a point in the train where Douglas tells this friend that we've been sitting every time on this train at the same seats. Why is this reoccurring all the time? So what the friend of Douglas tells him is that let's change seats so you can feel a little bit better. We at least you have done something better. So this friend, he's basically evading what Douglas is saying. So Douglas has something, he has an idea, and also you see that dreams that he has been occurring, having those dreams again. Also Douglas is questioning those dreams. So Douglas, they work in a manufacturing company which manufactures robots, where they make robots themselves. So, and you see in this world right now, where Douglas was living, there was a head of that world who was called somebody. He was called a particular name, where he's the leader of that world, where, and many people who are protesting. And when the movie starts, Douglas sees people protesting, saying that there's a leader of a revolution group called Matthias. So people saying that Matthias is saying the truth. So Douglas is wondering, who is this Matthias? So because on the walls it is written Matthias. So Matthias in that movie is basically a captive who is being looked for, who is leading a revolution. So this world is led by somebody who has a vision of leading everybody in a typical political system. So this person is leading all the people, and also he is the one who has that manufacturing company which Douglas works for, which manufactures robots. And these robots are used to also as policemen, and also these robots are used to control the population. So this revolution and rebels which are headed by Matthias are the ones which are opposing this person, this leader who is called, he has a name, who is called somebody. They are opposing him. So so opposing him. But right now, in the start of the movie, we don't see that Douglas knows who is Matthias, or recognizes anybody as Matthias. So Douglas and his friend head to work, and they start working. So when they are working, Matthias, Douglas had told his friend about something called recall, where you go and recall your memories and have something build you. They just put you in a machine where you have to have memories, and put you to do some memories, and also recall memories of your past, because this had been resulted by when Douglas was having those dreams. So Douglas was curious about it, so he mentioned that thing to his friend, who his friend shoved it up and told Douglas that just leave it alone, because recall is something that you shouldn't go to. Recall is something which, when you go, you'll get yourself into trouble, because that recall, where it is just like somewhere where they put you machines, and that recall is against the law in that particular system. So the friend of Matthias wants him, and tells him, you shouldn't go there at all. You shouldn't go there. So when they were having this conversation, one of their workmates overheard them, what they were saying, and what the friend of Douglas was telling him, that recall is something bad, you shouldn't go there and you shouldn't try. So when they overheard that conversation, so team leader, who they were in a locker room where they were preparing to and wearing clothes so they can go to start manufacturing the robots. That team leader told them a team leader came up and told them that they have a new crew member who needs to be assisted. So everybody said they can't assist the new crew member, they want to do other things. So Douglas was the one who was chose to lead and tell the team to lead the new crew member into making those robots. And that crew member is the one who overheard what Douglas was saying, the conversation which they had with his best friend. So when they were making the robots, Douglas showed the new crew member how to make the phone. The new crew member was called, he was called Maverick. He was called Maverick. He was called Maverick or Maverick, the new crew member. So he told him how to make it, and they were making robots where when he showed him how to make that robot, the new crew member asked Douglas, I heard you talking about a particular, you're talking about going to recall, and I heard you guys talking about, and the new crew member told him that recall isn't any bad, recall is something you should try. So he gave him a card where he can go, and also he can go to the recall, and also when he goes to the recall, he can say he's the one who told him to go there, and they will be able to assist him. So he took the card. We see after taking the card, what happens next is Matthias goes back, Douglas goes back to home. When he goes to home, he finds his wife sleeping, and she has written a letter on the fridge where she says that she has had a long day, so she has to sleep, and she told Douglas good night. So she had already been sleeping when Douglas came to the house. So after Douglas seeing this, Douglas was a little bit, he had questions in his mind, so he decided to go out for a drink with his best friend. So when they were going out for a drink with his best friend, they also talking also, and they were talking about the current system and how the system which they are working. And so Douglas mentioned that he has been having strange dreams, which these dreams he's being chased around by people who are armed. So he doesn't understand who fully he is. So his best friend tells him, you are a lucky man, you should leave that behind and just go back to your wife who loves you, and being with that type of girl is very lucky. No one can get a chance of being with that type of girl, because that girl is beautiful and you deserve her. So what basically the friend is trying to tell Douglas is pushing him away from the question that Douglas is asking himself. So the friend is basically pushing away Douglas to go away from what he's been told by what he's questioning himself about. So after drinking, having many drinks, they get drunk. And when they were going out, the friend mentioned to Douglas, go sort your things up and start behaving in the right way, and I'll see you tomorrow. So when he was telling him like that, he was a little bit like he was pretending on what he was saying. He was pretending that he was drunk, but he knew what he was saying. So he was telling Douglas, go and fix your things up and get your shit together. So when they left each other on that bar after that drinking session, so Douglas decided to go to that recall where the crew member had mentioned him about. So Douglas wanted to remember his memory. So when he went to recall and met up a man where they gave him machines where they gave him drugs. When he came, the man started questioning Douglas and asking him why he has come and why he's there. So Douglas says that an illusion is just an illusion, although it is very convincing. So the person he was told to meet told Douglas that in other worlds or in other dimensions, it is the opposite. An illusion can be it can be true, although it's convincing. So this was just trying to tell Douglas that what he was thinking about, it can be true. All his thoughts and all his dreams can be true. So Douglas he was given that injection where they told Douglas, what type of dream would you like to dream and what type of person would you like to be. So because this recall is basically you say what you want to do and they give you that simulation and that feeling that you want to be by giving you, these people are advanced in technologies, and even the things that they're so advanced. Even before Douglas came there, he met a woman who had 3 breasts, and that woman wanted to sleep with Douglas, and having 3 breasts, Douglas was not interested. So Douglas asked this woman on the direction where he can find recall, and this woman is the one who directed Douglas to recall where it is. So this world which they are living, it's so advanced, and maybe it's in the near future where it is 100 over there, where things are so advanced, even they have flying cars and all sorts types of things. So this Douglas, when he's in recall, he decided he wants a particular type of dream where he wants to have a type of feeling where Douglas, he is a special agent who is assisting the resistance. So this is what Douglas said he wants to be. So they inject Douglas with things where they get to give him an injection where he will have that feeling. So meanwhile, where they were injecting him, Douglas had to sit on a chair where sitting that chair, Douglas had to be checked his records and see if he is a spy or if he is anybody bad, and see his records very well, because that place is illegal at that time, because what they are doing is illegal and it's against the system of that particular world. So when they're checking Douglas' system, and they've already injected Douglas with a type of medicine where it makes him have those special abilities of becoming a special agent, and also remember his memories, and also be that agent that he wants. So when these guys are checking on his data, they come up and see he's a police, he's a spy. When it turns alert. So when this guy tells him, why have you been lying to me? Why are you lying? Douglas wonders, what's wrong? Because Douglas knows he's
he's a hardworking man. He has been waking up with his wife. Now these guys are saying that I am a spy. How can I be a spy? And how is it so? Not knowing, cops already on the door. And when this guy was questioning Douglas and telling him, Douglas, why didn't you tell me you're a spy? Why are you're a traitor? Cops had already come in. So they shot the person who was to do Douglas that memory recap and also give him that certain type of feeling. They shot him. And also they told Douglas there were more than 10 cops or 12 cops. There were more than 12 cops who had come in and shot everybody who that was in the room. So they told Douglas to raise his hands up. So Douglas is just a normal worker. But that medicine which they had injected him to make him remember and also to do certain types of abilities, when he was raising his hands up and he had a feeling of, let me fight these people. So he managed to do combat with more than 10 officers who had come to arrest him. So Douglas wondered, how can I do this type of things? How do I have any special abilities? So Douglas started fighting with those policemen who had come to arrest him. So there's a time which he closed the door of that place so that no more policemen can come, because he had fought with them and more were coming, even more than he had expected. So Douglas was in that period of, he's questioning himself, how can I be a normal worker and yet I know how good I know how to fight? I'm so good in fighting. So he was questioning himself. In his memory hadn't really realized who he is. So he was in still that doubt. How have I done this? How have I defeated these people and these policemen? So what they did, so there were other policemen who were outside there. So they shot in some cameras where they looked at the vicinity, how it looks inside there. So they saw Douglas is the only one who is remaining. So they planned to enter. So Douglas, what he did is took up all the grenades that were in these people's who he had killed, these policemen. He took up all the grenades and combined them. So when these guys were entering, all the grenades blew up, and that's when Douglas got the chance to run away. When he ran away, he went to home. When going to home, he was all over the news saying that there's a captive who has run away and there has been attack. So he found his wife watching the TV. So the wife calms Douglas down and tells him, oh, Douglas, what's wrong? Please calm down. So Douglas tells his wife, have been able to defeat 10 agents. You see, that person is in the TV. That's me. I'm from fighting people right now. So the wife tells Douglas, stop deluding. I think you're in delusions. Stop doing that. So Douglas tells the wife, no, this is something real. So the wife tells Douglas, no, maybe you're having some delusions. You're just a normal worker. So what Douglas and the wife decides to hug, and the wife tries to calm down Douglas. When he's calming down Douglas, he strangles him. He wants to kill Douglas. When he was strangling Douglas, he was in a shock. How can my wife want to kill me and strangle me? So that's when Douglas started fighting with his wife. Douglas is questioning himself. How can my wife want to have a fight with me? Who is this woman who has been sleeping with me and saying that she is my wife? So this woman, when they were fighting, this woman revealed to Douglas that she has been sent as an undercover agent to watch over Douglas, and she is not the true wife of Douglas. And she tells Douglas, do you think that I can be living at this type of woman who I am? I can be living in a shithole which you are living right now. So when they were fighting, this woman is very good in fighting and all this. So they were able to fight, and also Douglas was able to at least put her away and also fight her. So at that being fighting, that commotion, Douglas got an opportunity to run away, where he ran away and also started running away, because this fight had started being he had started being disadvantaged in the fight. He had started losing in the fight, and also there were other policemen who were coming to look after him after he had evaded that place. So they were coming in his house to catch him. So when he ran away, his wife was also after him. So as we know now, the wife was an undercover agent who was sent to undercover and also pretend to be the wife of Douglas. So we don't know who Douglas is. So Douglas is running and he's running. So when he's running and escaping, he's running over buildings. He's running over buildings. He's climbing out of buildings. He's falling down. He's going to backyards. He's going to balconies, jumping down all those buildings, running. Also, he has abilities, like he was trained. He's doing these things like he has ever done them before. So he manages to evade his wife. So when he's evading, he started covering himself up and started looking for things that will cover him. So when he is on the way, and also trying to hide away from the police, because the police were told and they were on the radar, they were looking up for him, so he had to cover himself up. So when he was walking slowly, he had a phone call which was ringing. Looking at his hand was blinking. There was a phone embedded. The technology was far ahead. There was a phone embedded in his hand. So he picked it up and started talking to the guy who was calling him. So the guy who was calling him told him he should go and place his hand on a glass where they can be able to communicate. So they communicate, and this guy tells Douglas that Douglas had told him that when he calls, he should be able to contact him when his phone is activated. So he puts his hand and they are able to talk, and tells Douglas that you told me to tell you that a certain key is in a certain bank. So Douglas wonders what type of key and what type of location. So Douglas asks him where is that location where that key is. So this man tells Douglas the location where that key which Douglas had told him. So Douglas is wondering, where did you tell me this key is, and when did I tell you? Because me, all my life I've been living with this wife. So Douglas doesn't know anything. So that's why this movie is called Total Recall. He is recalling his memories. So Douglas, having that key, having the location of the bank where that guy who was calling him had told him, and that guy told him to lose the phone, because that phone could be able to track them. So Douglas had already gotten the direction of the bank and where he had hidden the key, but Douglas doesn't know what is the key which that person was talking about. So what Douglas did is took a bottle and cut his hand, and was able to remove the device that was in his hand that was able to make calls. So Douglas left that device with somebody who was in the street, a street kid. So that street kid, when Douglas was able to evade and also went to where the location of that bank is. So when the wife came with the cops, they were tracking that device on his hand which he had removed. They found it with that kid. So this kid started talking badly and started saying this device is mine, but Douglas had already left for him. So that woman bet this kid and told this kid, you have to tell me everything that Douglas has told you, and where he is going and where he was heading to. So but the kid doesn't know anything. So this woman insisted she wants to know where Douglas might have been and where he has gone. So this woman receives a call from the boss, who is the leader of that country and the leader of that world. So this boss tells this woman, this wife of Douglas, that Douglas is very important, and they want Douglas kept alive, and no matter what, they want him alive. And this woman asked that leader of that that world, who is called Coegan. He asked Coegan, who is this Douglas, and why is Douglas so important to you? So Coegan tells the wife of Douglas that this Douglas is a special agent who we need to take care of, and he is a special agent who is the best of agents and is the best intelligence agent who has ever been. So this woman was shocked to know that Douglas is a special agent, and he is the best special agent. So this woman didn't expect Douglas to be so important like that. So the search for searching Douglas began. So this woman, this wife of Douglas, who is called Lori, started looking for Douglas. So, and Douglas was in a bank where where that person had told him that the key is in that particular bank. So when he went to the bank, they asked his name. So when they were asking his name, that bank teller told Douglas, "Welcome, Mr. Reed." So Douglas was shocked. How comes this person calls me Mr. Reed and my name is Douglas? So he just accepted the name which that person called him Mr. Reed. So when he accepted that name, they told him to do an eye scan, where he scanned his eye and he was able to access a particular safe box in that bank. So when he was given the direction where the safe box is, when Douglas opened that safe box, he found documents where he saw that his past life, there's a place where he was called Harry Reid. His real name was Harry Reid. This Douglas name is just a name which he has been assigned and which he has been given to. So when he read that name, Harry Reid, and so it what he is, his real name, and this was what Douglas was searching for, and he has been asking himself questions. Why am I having these dreams? Why am I having these dreams with another woman? That was the only dream that he was having of that particular woman. So when he opened that box, he found passports showing his real name, and also found money in that document, in that briefcase. So he had to put a fingerprint where it will show him a message which he had left. So when he was looking at that message showed Douglas that he was trapped in a hospital where he was wearing some hospital clothes, and that hospital clothes, Douglas was on a camera sending a message to this Douglas and telling him that if you are reading this message right now, know that they have successfully erased my memory and they have been able to implant a new memory. And if you read this, there's a particular type of location where you'll find what you've been looking for and what you want. So when Douglas, this message finished, the message will self-destruct and it deleted itself. So Douglas couldn't replay the message, and Douglas was very shocked to see his image on that computer telling him that they have erased his memory. So Douglas had many questions in his mind and he started asking many questions. So when Douglas was getting out, he wore a collar on his neck, where that collar could change the you could change your face and give you a new identity. So when he was crossing over a particular border in that station, in a railway station, he was going through some scanners where no one could recognize him because his face was completely changed. So when he was crossing over that detector which detects weapons and also your true character, and also because that dictator is it's very advanced, where leave these dictators for right now, which detect metal. That detector, when you just pass through it, detects who you are and also detect it's just like an identification detector. So when he passes through although he has a collar which has hidden his face, and he isn't, his face isn't showing. And you know, that time there's a radar, and the policemen are on a lookout for him. So when he's passing through that they stop him and ask him, who are you? So he is trying to answer those questions, and that collar starts to malfunction. So when it starts to malfunction, it eventually stops to function, and it shows the real face of Douglas. So the police, seeing this is Douglas, they wanted to remove the weapons and to catch Douglas, but Douglas was very fast, and he was able to remove his weapon and started running. So he was able to evade those police people in the station. The police people in the station started shooting up, where everybody was told to lie down. So when everybody was told to lie down, Douglas also lay down, and he woke up very fast and shot the first police officer who was in front of him. So shooting up the police officers, you know, they was silent, and everybody was told to lie down. Everybody woke up in that commotion. So everybody started running everywhere. So Douglas got an opportunity also to run, and also started shooting those other guys, that's those other police officers. So on the way to, he was running, and also the other police people following him, and that's when his wife, who is Lori, started coming after him. So when he was running, he went outside where there were supercars which fly, and they started now following Douglas with the policemen. So when Douglas was running and running, Douglas found a woman who rescued Douglas on the way, and told Douglas to enter inside the car. So this woman is the same woman which Douglas was seeing in his dream. So Douglas told this woman, I recall you from somewhere. So this woman told him, are you sure you recall me from somewhere? So this woman tells Douglas that I've been looking for you everywhere and everywhere. So what they start now evading, and police cars are after them. So when they're driving, so they were shooting also other cars, and also it was just a race of supercars. Not these supercars where they roll on the road. Those are hovering above roads and hovering on the sky. So they were evading them, and they were very fast supercars. So evading them, the cars, so they were also making stories and also reconciling themselves who they are really. So Douglas tells this woman tells Douglas that she has been looking for Douglas for a long time, and Douglas just disappeared from nowhere. This woman is called Melina. So when this woman tells Douglas, she has been looking for Douglas everywhere and everywhere, and she tells Douglas. So Douglas tells this woman Melina that, you see that woman who is chasing me behind, that is my wife. She is chasing me. She wants to kill me. I don't know where my life is. I just woke up and people are just chasing me, and I've been doing a normal life. But the Melina, the woman on which he was seeing in his dream, told Douglas that you are a special agent, and you are a special intelligence who you have been working with me. So Douglas was able to reconcile that this Melina was his girlfriend. So before they erased his memory, Melina was his girlfriend. So this girlfriend that they were having was a completely different girlfriend. So Douglas, they were running away with this, now the girlfriend who is Melina. So they were running away, and the wife of Douglas was behind them, chasing after them. So they reached a point where this car had a crash. When the car had a crash, it fell down. So when falling down, the car fell down on the ground. So this girlfriend of Douglas was unconscious. So Douglas had a chance either to save this girlfriend to go with her, or just to leave with himself or alone with himself. So Douglas decided to go with his wife, who was Melina, and Douglas took him to an apartment which was in that location of that apartment was given to in that briefcase which Douglas found it in the bank. So when they reached that apartment, he put the woman down, Melina down, and Douglas went to see around and to find any clues of anything that he can see, or any clue of anything that can make him recall. So because in that message which he had left, he told the message said that the key was in the house, which he can access the last message which he had left. So he was in the house playing a piano. When he was playing a piano, he was very good in playing that piano. He just remembered the thing automatically, although he has never played a piano before. So when he was playing, he found one key in that piano wasn't being able to be pressed down easily. So when looking at that key of piano, he was able to remove that key and found that key was also removable. And there was another key which he found in the briefcase. He looked at this key, they were looking the same. So he put that key which he had found in the briefcase inside that piano and started playing the same music which he was playing. When playing that music which he was playing, the piano was able to be activated and gave him a message. Was being able to be activated and gave him a message. When it gave him a message and told Douglas that he is a special agent, he has been working for Matthias, Matthias is a revolution leader which was against the system. So this message tells Douglas that his name is Harry Reid, and the person which he's seeing right now, it is him, because that message was usually been given in a video form. So that person was telling Douglas that he is Harry Reid and they are all the same. And that face that Douglas is having right now, it is not his real face. It has been implanted. That face has been implanted. So he tells him that he fell in love with a woman, which that woman changed his perspective on the world, and thought because he was thinking that the world that they were living in was the right world. But when he met that woman, changed his perspective and showed him that that type of world is a world which oppresses people and it oppresses the poor. So Douglas, after finishing that message distracted himself. So that woman which that person was talking about, which that person is Harry Reid, that woman is Melina. And that woman who is Melina, the father to Melina is Matthias, and Matthias is the revolution leader who is living underground and is hiding himself because cops and police are looking for him and they want to catch him because he's leading rebels and he's leading coups against this the current regime of Cohagen, that regime which is an evil regime of Cohagen, where they oppress people, they beat people. So this woman who Douglas finds out that this is the daughter to Matthias, and she's the one which they have been in love with. So when they were just chilling, the woman woke up. When she woke up, they were just having some taking a break. Then they realized that they have known, the cops have known his current location. So when they were trying to escape, they came downstairs where they found cops everywhere. They shooting at him. When there were cops downstairs, he saw his best friend coming. When his best friend came, the best friend tried to convince Douglas that he's in a dream world. He's hallucinating. That day when he was going to recall, he has never woken up and he's hallucinating. So that friend tries to play with his mind, which was convincing to Douglas, because Douglas was also questioning his mind and also questioning his existence. So this best friend found a weakness in Douglas. So this best friend tried to convince Douglas that Douglas should kill that woman, which is Melina, which she's the true girlfriend of Douglas. So this friend was almost convincing Douglas to kill Melina, but Melina took the gun and pointed to Douglas and told Douglas, I won't let you for these guys to take you. So when that Melina wanted to shoot, she stopped shooting. She just fell and she started crying. So Douglas saw that Melina is the true person, and Melina truly loves him. So what Douglas did is kill his best friend, because this best friend was playing with his mind, and he was implanted in Douglas' life to evade him and to show him that to not bring him from the truth, and not for him to realize that his memory has been erased. So when he killed his best friend, they ran away. So from running away, the wife of Douglas was outside waiting for Douglas. They had staged a scene where that wife was Douglas saw that wife, like the wife was crying. So it was where they staged that scene. It almost convinced Douglas that he's dreaming and he should go back to his loving wife. So when he killed that friend, or his best friend, they started running away. They ran away with this girl, which is Melina. So Melina thanked Douglas for not killing him, and Melina thanked Douglas for not killing her, and also for being there for protecting her. So Melina took Douglas to where his father is and where his father operates. Taking Douglas to where his father operates, Douglas was having a conversation with the father to Melina, who is Matthias. So Matthias was telling Douglas that, who are you? So Douglas said, I want to remember who I am. So the father to Melina told Douglas that every man has a quest. Every man has a quest where they question themselves about who their true identity is, but the heart wants to live in the present. And where the heart wants to live in the present is where you should look at the present. Don't live in the past. So when you live in the present, you'll know who you are, and you'll truly be who you truly are. So Douglas didn't understand this thing, what the father told him. So they wanted to extract a black box which was in his mind, which was able to destroy the entire regime of Cohagen, the entire regime of Cohagen. So when they were trying to enter in his brain and access that black box which was in his brain, they activated a tracker which found the current location where they were. So finding the location where they were, Cohagen came with his group of members, and also the wife to Douglas, Lori. They came and found them. So Cohagen told Matthias, I've been looking for you. You are a very hard man to find. So in that commotion, Cohagen was successfully killed the leader of the resistance and the rebel group, and he was able to kill Matthias. And so killing Matthias signified the end of that resistance completely. So they caught Matthias and hold Matthias hostage. So when holding Matthias hostage, they tied him up, and they wanted again to erase his memory and also make him wake up another place. So they wanted to do the same recurrence to Matthias again, so he cannot remember anything that he has gone through and anything that has passed. But they wanted to keep him because he was a very special agent, and they couldn't afford to lose him. So they caught Melina, and they started going with Melina and told Melina that you are going to be used to confess that we have killed your father, and you're going to confess that your father was the leader of the resistance group, and there's nothing going to come up from the resistance group. So they wanted to use Melina to discourage any other person who was looking forward to Matthias and also was looking forward to them having to rebel. They wanted to just completely kill their hopes with using Melina confession. So when they went with Melina to their station where they were going, where there was the headquarters of Cohagen. So them they left. So Matthias was Douglas was left with with police officers who wanted to erase his memory. So trying to erase his memory, he was able to break free from that chair. Breaking free from that chair, he fought them up, was able to defeat them. So what he did, he went and followed up where Melina had been taken to. So on following up, he gathered some weapons so that he can go and fight those guys in that headquarter. When he reached that headquarter, he was able to implant bombs in that whole building, and after implanting bombs in that building is when he started now fighting and going to save his true girlfriend Melina in that, where he had been trapped in that building. So having been trapped in that building, he was able to save the girlfriend Melina. Saving the girlfriend Melina in that building, they wanted to run away, but when they were running away, they were caught up by those cops, and being caught up by those cops, they were able to fighting them. So in that building where they were, it was the headquarters, and that headquarters there were many robots which were in a state where they were in a sleep. It was a state called the ISIS, where they were just not asleep, and they were just there. They were ready to be activated so they can start enforcing. They will be automatically robots, which now will be police officers, which have intelligence, which have automatic movement, which they can be able to fight and also oppress the population. So when these robots will be able to be activated, then Cohagen, it means that Cohagen will be on top of every person in that system, and his system won't be able to be overthrown, and he will have a complete power and control over the population of that system. So these robots were inside that building, and they were ready to be activated, and that day is when Cohagen wanted to activate those robots. So when in that commotion of fighting off those cops, Douglas was able to be caught up with, or they were caught together with the girlfriend Melina. So when they were caught, they were taken to where Cohagen was. So Cohagen was very shocked that Matthias was able to escape that time when he had ordered the other cops to tie Matthias and also to erase his memory. So in that commotion where they were caught, Matthias, Douglas started fighting with Cohagen. So fighting with Cohagen, Matthias was able to defeat Cohagen, and defeating Cohagen, they had some knife fights. Having some knife fights, Cohagen was a little bit on top, and because Matthias was injured, he had been fighting all this time. He had also sustained injuries. So after fighting for long, what Douglas did, Douglas took the girlfriend Melina and ran away, and left Cohagen there. Cohagen wanted to activate the robots. When he activated the robots, remember that time Douglas had already implanted bombs in that building. So what Douglas did, Cohagen told Douglas, "You can't stop me from this happening. You can't stop that this revolution will happen. You can't stop that I will take over the world." So what Douglas did is activated the bomb, and which started blowing up the buildings, and also blowing up the entire building which the robots were. So the robots blew up, and also that building fell, and that building which fell, Cohagen was in that building. So when the building fell, they all perished, including Cohagen and those all robots. So they started a new life with Melina, and and Douglas started a new life where they were, at least they had freed everybody from those captivity. So this movie basically is similar to that movie, which is Matrix, and I've tried to cut it short because it was long. It is a long movie, and it's a nice movie which you should watch. This movie is particular, just similar as the one which is in Matrix, but it has been shot in a different perspective. So when you look at Douglas, you can compare Douglas to Neo in the Matrix, and you can compare Melina to Trinity in the Matrix. So Douglas, this movie has the same concept with the Matrix, where a person has to save the entire world of a certain system and operation system, which Douglas saves the regime and the world from this tyrant who has been oppressing them. And this can also be used in our current world, where there are so many leaders who are oppressing us, and so many leaders who are taking advantages of us and are enforcing laws which we may not like. So Douglas was able to free this regime from that oppression of leaders, and these leaders are seen everywhere in our societies. There are some rights which people are denied, and there are some rights which we have never seen them, although they are on the law. Some rights we have never have access to them, although they have been written in the law. They have just been put there to deceive us and to make us get in line, to make us feel that we are in favor, and although we are not in favor and we have no say, to make us feel that we are having democracy, although we don't have democracy. So this movie basically explains that, and explains what this world of right now is, what the things are happening and how things are taking place. So where Douglas gets to defeat this Cohagen, who was heading this regime, and he was on top of regime and a system which has been oppression. So when the movie is ending, it basically says that the system of oppression has been defeated, and also people can now live a system where there is justice and freedom. So they were fighting against this oppression and freedom, and this is also seen in the movie which is in Matrix. Most of these movies have similarities, where they talk about one thing and have one goal. And there are so many movies which have they have hidden meaning, and people, if anyone watches it overall, you won't get the true meaning of these movies unless you watch it with the inner eye, and at least your eye is open. So when you watch this movie, just look at this movie and watch what it says, and everything this movie has talked about, just reflect it to the current world, which things are happening now. And when you look at that story where the best friend of Douglas tried to take Douglas away from his purpose, and tell Douglas that just leave, don't question this regime, because Douglas was questioning himself that what is happening in this world, why are we repeating the same routine day and day. So that friend of Douglas was made for Douglas to push him away, because there's so many few people in this world who can question the system and question a particular way of functioning of a system. And many people have friends which they pull them and tell them not to think in a certain type of way of their thinking, and pull them from their goal and their purpose of questioning the system and finding the truth. They are trying to make them not find the truth. So Douglas, his best friend, was trying to make Douglas not see the truth and push him away from the destiny of Douglas. And also we find this movie also explains that the people who are close to you can be the ones who are trying not to make you reach your certain type of goal, and also make you not be what you want to be. They want to pull you down. So because this best friend of Douglas was playing with Douglas mind tricks, he was telling Douglas things, but not knowing Douglas was innocent, but not knowing that this friend of Douglas was playing and knew what is happening. And this friend of Douglas was put there by the system to convince Douglas not to question himself, and also make sure Douglas is on a certain type of way. So Douglas was able to question and also was able to find his true identity and found who the true purpose of himself, and at the end of the day, good was able to defeat the bad. And this will always be, because this is something that the system this is the system, because the system is built inside a system. The bigger system is the system of God, which controls the inner system, and the system of God, basically at the end of the day, good always defeats bad. That's the system of God, and that's how God has made things. So Douglas was able to defeat this system, and he was able to overcome, and he was able to know his true identity. So at the end of the movie, Douglas got his happy girlfriend, and now that was his now wife, the one they had in the beginning of the movie, which he was having some memories of. This is now the girlfriend which he was longing for. So they lived a happy life after that, and they lived a happy life because there was no more oppression of Cohagen and also other people. Now it was a free world which Douglas was looking for, and this is what Douglas was fighting for. So thank you for watching this episode, and I say please come to the next episode, and please subscribe to this channel, and we'll be producing more videos like this, and we'll be showing more videos of how the system works, and which more movies have been put there out, but they have hidden meaning on a particular system and how it functions. So please watch out for the next video, and please subscribe.